everyone, and thank you for joining us for our panel. Today, we are lucky to have two alumni from the School of Graphic Media Sciences and Technology, and they're going to talk a little bit about their journey and some of their experiences in the field.
My name is Colleen Twomey. I use she, her pronouns. I'm delighted to be here. I am an associate professor and department chair of the graphic communication department at Cal Poly State University, which is a program not dissimilar to RIT's School of Graphic Media and Sciences. And in my role, I get to spend a lot of time with undergraduate students learning about our industry. And it's such an amazing, satisfying job. Prior to coming to Cal Poly, I spent 22 years in the packaging industry, flexo printing specifically. So I feel like it provided me a really good base for understanding career potential for these students. But now that I get to spend almost every working day interacting with these really brilliant young minds, I'm so encouraged about the future of our industry, specifically for women. It's great to be here.
I'm Doris Brown-McNally. In my current role at HP, I am the Worldwide Brands Innovation Manager. And what that means is I get to work with all the major brands around the world to help them understand how to use digital print technology in campaign executions. It is amazing. Not only do I get to work with these wonderful brands, but I also get to work with the highest end creative agencies and show them how the technology of digital print is rivaling what has been done in the past through traditional print methods. Prior to joining HP, I enjoyed 12 years with Pantone as the Vice President of Marketing at Pantone. And I have to tell you, that was an amazing job. Going to a crayon box every single day and having fun and really understanding the science and breaking down the science of color to bite-sized manners where brands can understand and implement them into the brand standards that they have. And then prior to that, I worked for Ag4Convert, which was the company that actually introduced the first digital printing press. Since my leaving RIT, I have had an amazing career in the print and publishing industry and have a lot of war stories behind me. But I am very happy to be joined by Colleen today in this conversation. This is going to be fun.
Thank you both for being here. Really appreciate it. And just so you all are aware, my name is Deidre Livingston, and I am the Career Services Advisor for the Students in Media Arts and Technology and Print with the Master's Degree Program.
So I have a circuitous route to RIT. I started after high school. I attended UMass in Amherst, Massachusetts as a BFA undergrad, and I loved it. I loved the amazing, talented, and creative folks who I spent every day with. But at the end of my first year, we had a lot of grads come back to the program and talk about the things that they were doing, and many of them were having to make a living doing other things to support their creative field of art. And I felt that that was a little unstable for me. So I started doing some research into how I can combine the creative side of things with technology, because I'm more of a STEMmy person, and this wonderful world of printing sort of cropped up. I attended a community college in not far from my hometown in Western Massachusetts, and I transferred to RIT. So a little bit of a different story, but I have never regretted, and I in fact proselytized many times about my education at RIT. It was such a fantastic foundation for everything I have done in my career. In fact, one of the most utilized classes, I think, is technical writing. Thank you, Dr. Barbara Burkett, for that. But all the foundational courses that we learned about helped me navigate my career in the flexo printing arena.
Similar to Colleen, I started in a little different way. I actually started back in high school. I was doing the posters and all the print work in my high school for the theater groups in my high school. I was ready to go to college for a liberal arts degree, and my father had a heart attack. and I went into the industry. I actually started to work for a printing press company in Westbury, Long Island, and I was doing something called offset lithography stripping, or stripping, as my father didn't like me saying. And when my father got a little bit better, he had actually submitted my name into the Police Benevolence Association for a scholarship. And I got a scholarship to go to RIT, which I have to tell you was one of those big tipping moments for me. I definitely didn't come from a very industrious family. My dad was just a New York City cop. And when I went to college, I took advantage of it. The courses there were amazing. The professors, I remember to this day, Joseph Brown, taught me about paper. I actually even brought this out. This is something I made. This was paper. This is from 1978, guys. Dinosaurs were walking the earth. And this was hand-set type that I did in Archibald Proven's class of the night before Christmas. And this is my Christmas card in 1978. So I hold all these memories very well. All those experiences, all those knowledges worked within my life. When I worked for Agfa Gevert and GAF Corporation, which was purchased by International Paper, the paper knowledge came in. When I was working with Agfa, they were manufacturing phototypesetting paper, which came to typesetting. So when you go into the school, take advantage of all the courses and all the knowledge that's there, because you never know what you can pull on as you get a little bit older and you navigate your career.
Well, that actually segues into our next question.
I think her name was Carol Johnson, and she was actually the head of the School of Printing for many, many years. And she got me into the school, and I actually worked for the school. So in my spare time, I had made a little extra money so I could move off campus, because I was in Colby F&G, if that dormitory is still there. And I was there the year that there was a fire in the dormitory, so I had to move off campus. And not only did I work for the school, but I also was introduced into the NTID, the National Institute for the Deaf. I worked there for many years. So once again, there were different people in the organization, not only people within the school, not only the professors who were teaching me my individual classes, but it was also the faculty that ran the school that I was able to network with. And they taught me a lot about business, about how to interact with people. I used to be a tour guide and take people who were visiting the school through the different laboratories. Once again, it's just an amazing opportunity if you grab it while you're there.
That's very similar. When I joined RIT, Linda Tolan was very, very prominent in my success in transferring. She was a wealth of knowledge to help me understand scholarships, how to apply for different scholarships. I worked at, I don't think it's there anymore, but I was a lifeguard at the Hilton on campus, and I also taught swimming lessons. It was really amazing how she helped me navigate that transfer process from an associate's program to a bachelor program, mostly in the financial end of things. Flexo printing, that did it for me. I spent 22 years in the flexo industry because of that foundational knowledge. Werner Rebson and in binding, Joe Noga, Frank Cost, Frank Romano, right? Miles Southworth, all these really famous names. They were very, very influential. RIT also had a career day type of thing where companies were encouraged to come to campus either for internships or permanent placement. And I took full advantage of researching companies and really trying to figure out what it was I wanted to do with this degree. And that was an amazing opportunity that RIT did, is that we got to interact with these companies, really understand potential careers. And that's how I got my first job, which ended up lasting 22 years.
You mentioned some people there, and I have to say, I agree with you. Miles Southworth, Dan Levine. I mean, they were on the cutting edge of color science when we were there, and they were doing things with things called scanners and printers, and they were working with Cytex, companies that were acquired by others. So those are great names. And also Frank Romano, I bump into him once a year. He's been an amazing individual to our industry. He's captured our history. You could spend hours with him talking about all the different technologies that are in play. And it's lovely to see him still so heavily engaged in the industry and offering his knowledge to the younger generations.
You talked a little bit about some of the different resources you used here while you're in school. We talked about Career Day, which we now call it the Career Fair. We have 200 plus companies coming every year to recruit RIT talent.
would say take advantage of your professor's knowledge and background for sure, 100%. Go to office hours, explore the different clubs that the Graphic Media Science and Technology program has to offer. I'm sure TAGA is still there. Gamma Epsilon Tau was a program I was involved with. There are a lot of different types of clubs that can get you involved in industry and maybe even take industry tours and give you that little flavor. But for sure, get to know your professors and your advisors. They can be such a wealth of knowledge and give you that sort of groundbreaking aha moment of, I never knew this was possible. And you link into all these different types of career paths that you may never have considered before.
For me, I think it was the conversations with them and the people they could network me with. I never thought of my professors as professors. I thought of them as colleagues, and that's because they allowed me to be their colleagues. They were very giving with their knowledge. They were very giving with their time, especially once again, in the years that I went, there were not that many women. And maybe it was a little bit because they were trying to make me feel comfortable in a class of all males, but they were always very giving of their knowledge, very giving of their friendship, very supportive of me as I was moving into the work world, kept in contact with me after I went to the work world. And I would say to you, the one thing I can say now in my age and at a point where I'm looking for the next phase of my life is take at least 10 to 15% of your time to connect with people. The technology that we have today has really turned us into kind of like a disconnected community, especially with the COVID virus. I would say to you, it is very important to keep in contact with people. People that you haven't talked to in 2 or 3 years, pick up the phone, call them, talk to them, write them a note. We work in a human industry. We work in an industry where networking and friendships and personalities are important. So use the time at school to craft that communication skill and that relationship skill with business people, because that has probably been the most valuable thing I learned through my professors. I like them. I've learned to appreciate the time they gave to me, and I'm at a point in my life where I'm giving back the same way they gave to me.
I think what you said is so perfect. This industry, this graphic communication industry is so vast, but it's also somewhat incestuous. So if you link in with different people through your professor, through their network, likely you're going to be linked in with these folks for a long time. They may change positions, they may change jobs, you may change positions and jobs, but we tend to stay in this industry because it's so exciting and so satisfying. And the things that we do, the problems that we solve are pretty amazing. So the people that you link in when you're younger will likely be lifelong people that you continue to speak with and learn from. So thank you, Doris. That was great.
You know, and Colleen, I'll say, and I'm going to give a name to this, Daniel Levine. He was the one who told me to understand my value and to ask for my value. And I think that many times what women do, at least from my generation, is they were pleased to have a job. They were appreciating the fact that they had a job. But I very early on recognized that it was okay for me to ask for more roles, more responsibilities, even more salary. Use the relationship with the professors to really build your confidence level. Because if you're good, you should be rewarded and compensated for the value you bring to an organization. And choose the organizations you work for, very importantly, because they will be with you for the rest of your life. It's better to turn down a job for a company that has a better relationship in the industry or that you can leverage in the future than it is to take a job with an organization or step down. And once again, all of that was taught during college. It was those seeds of knowledge that were put in our heads through the professors, because the professors I remember came from the industry. They didn't come from just school. They came from actual practice in the industry. So they were giving us real life experiences when they shared with us.
When I started my career in flexography, everything about my undergraduate degree at RIT prepared me. Absolutely everything. I had technical know-how, I had marketing know-how, I had the ability to work in teams, and I was able to work for a company to help solve problems for customers. And so I had the ability to have a variety of different careers in that 22 years of technical service and business development and marketing and sales. And it really all stemmed to the foundations that I learned at RIT. And then when I needed to get more education, like Doris, I went to my MBA. I got an MBA in an executive program to get more acumen on the business side of things. It was just an augment to what I had already learned in my foundational aspect of my undergrad degree.
There was so many different things I could get involved in. And it wasn't that I was just sticking to the classes. And I think, once again, if you go in with the mentality of just getting through the classes, just getting your grades, just moving to the next level, you're going to come out with a very good learning, but you're not going to get the life lessons. And the thing is that just getting involved, listening, be interested. If you see some new technology that's coming up that might be of interest to you, if you see a new track of something. I have many people who have graduated from RIT that I know that have moved into other industries and other careers, but it started with their ability to understand technology, its place in an industry, and how to work with people to make that technology have value to the people who need it. So I think that the mindset that you go in will really frame your career going out.
There are many, many different opportunities for you as you're sort of expanding your horizons and trying to learn more. These communities on social media platforms can help you become better educated, link to different people who can help you become more educated and learn more. So it's a really great time to be a young person who's super curious about solving problems in the graphic communication industry. Made it happen and make it happen.
Ooh.
RIT made it happen for me, and it allowed me to make it happen.
I'm going to say blessed, honored, and grateful. I've been happy and blessed and enjoyed every single job that I've had. I've loved my colleagues. So that's why the blessings come in and the gratefulness come in. I know sign language. I actually picked it up when I was working within the NTID, and I actually used it in my career.
My husband and I did a lot of community theater before children, and he was in a play, Children of a Lesser God. And of course, William Hurt, who most recently passed, was nominated for an Academy Award for his work in that movie. It was super amazingly thrilling to watch him on stage and to know in the background that I could help him out with the sign language that he had to learn to be on stage. So.
Winters in Rochester can be a bear. They really can. And the quarter-mile walk in the early morning days is something that someone has to experience to understand. I think it was 1979. What happened was we had a very bad ice storm, and the photographers in the School of Photography had dipped their photographs into water and made like a beautiful exhibition all the way up and down the quarter mile. So my girlfriend and I decided we were going to walk to school and take a look at the artwork. And as we're walking down and looking at the artwork, we notice a long table with a bunch of frat boys sitting on the corner, and they have cards in front of them. And what we noticed was maybe they put water on the ground, or maybe they slicked it up. A lot of people were falling right in front of the table, and they were scoring them like the Olympics of how good the fall was. Oh, my girlfriend and I had such a laugh about it. I think we barely made it, back to the dormitory or the other side of the campus, and we just were laughing hysterically. So I have a lot of fond memories of being that area, coming from the metro New York area and living up in Rochester and living on campus and off campus. I think the winters and the clouds, I used to love to lay on the grass and look up at the clouds and see all the different formations. It's a great place to be. I love to see the campus is still there. It's something I'll always remember fondly, and it was a great life experience.
I have a ton of fond memories. My friends in the School of Printing, I was part of Gamma Epsilon Tau, and that was a really nice community that we did company tours and things like that. And it made me get to know the program better. I was on the swim team. That pack of friends was also really awesome. I'm an early morning gal, so I never minded going to classes early, but reflecting on the winters when you're on the swim team, which is a winter sport. At least it was when I was there. Walking that quarter mile when you're kind of damp is just frigid. But, you know, the whole community of Rochester, you know, Nick Tahoe's, late nights at Nick Tahoe's and Jay's Diner are just really great. And maybe one of the prominent memories I have is when graduation. I graduated in 1989. In May, there was 7 inches of snow that fell the night before our graduation. And, you know, Rochester, what are you going to do?
I want to kind of wrap it up by giving you a couple of opportunities. One, if you want to share anything that I didn't get a chance to ask you that you think would be beneficial for people to know.
Feel free to search me out on the internet. I think you'll find me on LinkedIn. I work with HP right now, and we have some tremendous information about digital print. I'm sitting here once again, 45 years plus in this industry, and I have been very blessed, and that's been very rewarding to not only myself, but to my family. It has given me a lifestyle, and I have to say that I'm very honored by the people who had their hands on my back all those years, and it's time for me to pay back now. So call me, ask me, talk to me. I'm here.
I've had an interesting career in that half of it was in print, in package printing and flexo printing, an amazing career, which I loved. And I made a transition 11 years ago to the world of academia. So now I get to experience things through these young people's eyes. And I'm just so excited. And I want to tell you, there are so many wonderful opportunities. Years of a sustained industry that has morphed, that has changed, that continues to grow. But think about that. And it will continue to grow and continue to grow and to continue to grow. It's very, very exciting. Congrats, RIT.
And Deirdre, thank you for inviting us into the conversation. We're also honored to be a part of this, even little recording about this, because it's legacy. So thank you so much.